Hello everyone and welcome back to Neptune's Child Tarot. Thank you all so much for being here, for your continued love and support here on the channel. Today's pick a card reading, we are doing what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Okay. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? We do have 3 crystals for you guys to choose from. For group number 1, you are going to be this brown Jasper. For group 2, you're going to be Bloodstone. And then for group 3, you're going to be this clear quartz. I am going to be adding in one of these cards, and this is the Unlocking the Secret Garden Oracle. And we'll start with this. So what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? So group 1 with the brown Jasper. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Group 2 with the Bloodstone. And group 3 with the clear quartz. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Group 1, we have card number 13, Reciprocity. And that is with the brown Jasper. Group 2, we have card number 30 with Create, and that is with the Bloodstone. Group number 3, we have card number 8, the Keeper of Pleasure, and that is with the clear quartz. Okay, so those are the options for today. Once again, the question is, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Okay. So group 1 with Reciprocity and the brown Jasper, group 2 with Create and the Bloodstone, group 3 with Keeper of Pleasure and the clear quartz. Timestamps will be down below, and I will see you all at your reading. Hi group 1, so those of you that resonated with the Reciprocity card and the brown Jasper, this is going to be a reading today. So we're asking Spirit, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Okay. And we have Reciprocity. So this is making me feel like what your soul is trying to bring your attention to is the fact that some of you might be taking less than you deserve. And that could really be in any way. Maybe that has to do with a friendship, a romantic relationship at your job. It could have to do with school, a community, anything that you really give your time and your energy to that perhaps is not being reciprocated in the way that it should be, in a balanced way. Okay, so if your soul is asking for reciprocity, that means that we need to take a look at the things that we are investing our time and energy to, and whether or not we feel like we're receiving in return. So this is a time for us to look at our friendships, our romantic relationships, maybe even relationships that you could have with work colleagues, whether or not, maybe say like the company that you work for is giving you the opportunities that you're deserving of, whether or not they're paying you enough. If you are someone who has a tendency to overgive, okay, and then still not receiving something in return, or if you're that friend who is always there for, a person in your life, and then when you need them, they're not there for you, okay? So this is what we're starting with. I'm going to look at the tarot here. I would also say, you know, that we can do this for ourselves too, you know, in a way that if we're always someone who's always taking care of other people and their needs, but then we neglect ourselves, this can also be a time to give back to you, to make yourself a priority. Or if we are on the other side of the scale, where people are always giving to us and giving to us and giving to us, and then we don't give anything back. Okay? Where we would need to be more aware of what we bring to the table. What are we offering? What are we giving into that friendship or into a job, you know? Where if your boss is like paying you, and you're just like, I don't feel like working today. I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing, right? It can be looked at in many different ways. Okay, so let's see. Group number 1, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Look at that, the Lovers. Knight of Cups. Some of you, this could have to do with your romantic life, your love life. If you're someone, I would also say this too, because I'm looking at the Strength card. The Strength card is about, you know, self-control, keeping your emotions, being calm, learning how to stabilize our emotions, our anger, right? All the emotions that we feel. It's also about being compassionate, about being gentle, being kind to people, you know, and if you're that way with others, of course, we kind of want that same energy in return. Okay. But yeah, some of you, I do feel like this has to do with your romantic relationships. Okay. Like, let's just give the example of like, if you're always someone who, when things get challenging, difficult, you always are calm. You can control your emotions, and you know, you have that sense about you, but then you deal with another person who kind of directs all kinds of energy that's not that towards you. Okay? So this can be about you maybe finding relationships, maybe romantically, where people treat you with compassion. They treat you with kindness. They have control over their emotions and don't direct. Because if you're someone who's nurturing and loving and kind and sweet and has good values and things of that nature, are there certain things that you're not seeing? Are there certain things that we are kind of overlooking that we shouldn't? Okay. The 10 of Cups is about happiness and fulfillment, complete fulfillment. So again, this is where we want to kind of look at whether or not things are balanced. The Lovers is also a card of balance and harmony. Okay, the 6. So let's see what else. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, some of you, I mean, this could even have to do with family as well. Both of these can be about family. Do you know, maybe a person whose values align with yours. Okay. Yeah. 5 of Wands. And of course, it's natural, right, for us to be angry, to feel different things. But look at our King of Cups here. The King of Cups does represent emotional balance, emotional stability. This king is also very calm in terms of emotions. Okay, Temperance is also a card of balance and harmony and everything being in a perfect equilibrium. So, like I said, no one's perfect. We've all got things going on, issues and things like that. But it's also with how we put out the energy, right? What kind of energy we're keeping or, leading with, directing with. I do want to look at this a little bit. I feel like I want to look at that Eight of Swords. King of Swords. Now we've got Gemini, Taurus, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Did I already say the air signs? Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We've got the King of Swords and the High Priestess here. Okay. The other thing that I'm seeing here, the Eight of Swords is when our mind is kind of trapped in a lot of not so good thoughts. Okay. And I do feel like Spirit is trying to bring your attention to the state of your mind. Okay. The Five of Pentacles has to do with feeling sometimes low self-esteem, low self-worth, not feeling good enough, worthy enough. It could be dealing with abandonment wounds, neglect, rejection. It can also be energy surrounding abundance for us. The Five of Pentacles is poverty consciousness. Okay. So, of course, that would also be something that we want to be mindful of. If you're someone who functions from that place of lack, whether it comes with lack with abundance, lack with love in your love life, there's a need for us to pay attention to the energy that we're putting out. Okay? Because if we're trying to create reciprocity and balance, we don't want to attract in the wrong energies or project out the wrong energies. So we want to be mindful of where the state of mind is in terms of that Five of Pentacles. Okay. The King of Swords represents higher consciousness. It represents clarity, truth, facts, reality. Okay. So I feel like there's also a question here about asking yourself if you're receiving what you need. So tending to romantic relationships, family, people that we consider family, which sometimes that can be friends. Okay. The Five of Wands also has to do with jealousy, with envy, with fighting, arguing, disagreements, which again is normal. We're human. We're gonna have people that we have differences with. But again, if somebody is coming to us with a certain energy, how do we want to project our energy? Okay, because it could be very easily for us to also rage and let our emotions take over and get out of control. So Temperance is also a very peaceful, calm, balanced. This can also be about you making sure that you feel that sense of calm and balance within yourself. Okay. So I want to get a little bit more on, actually, let's look at a little guidebook here and say what this says. This book says about reciprocity. Number 13. Okay, so it says, it may seem counterintuitive, but healthy interdependence is a superpower. In a society that wants you to be both selfless and self-reliant, receiving is an act of rebellion and is key to reciprocity. You may have been taught not to speak your needs, not to be emotive or vulnerable. You may have been told that it's better to give than to receive. Look at what an unhealthy society and unhealthy psyche that creates. None of us exists in a vacuum. The human psyche is hardwired for love and belonging. The only way to maintain that connection is with the reciprocity of both giving and receiving. It's time to review your overextensions, right, when we're overgiving, and burdens. Evaluate how comfortable you are asking for what you need. Unclench the fists of white-knuckled resiliency and open the palms of receptivity. Okay? So, like I said, I feel like this is where Spirit is putting a lot of that focus towards our relationships with others. Okay? I mean, with the Strength card being here too, that could even be you being brave, courageous, to not be afraid of asking for what you want. Like if you feel like, let's just say you're at a job and you feel like your boss doesn't value you, doesn't pay you enough, that is you, you know, telling boss, standing up to boss and saying, hey, I would like more opportunities. I would like a raise. And not being afraid to ask for it. And if the answer is no, and it's not really, that place is not really allowing you to grow and evolve, then we make some changes. We embark on a new beginning and explore other possibilities. Same thing with a relationship. If you feel like your love and your nurturing and your care and you keeping your emotions calm, you know, and you're doing your best to kind of maintain your own energy and be kind to people and be gentle, and that's just the energy that's not being given to you in return, you know, that can be you having the strength to speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself and have boundaries and tell people like, hey, this is not okay. This is what I, want in this relationship. And if it's not something that you can deliver, then we're done. Okay? Whether it's a friendship and we need to have a friendship breakup or relationship, coming to an end, if there's not, let's just say, mutual respect, honesty. Okay? So let's see any other messages that Spirit has. Anything else for group 1? We have love is all around. Overcome any obstacle. And we have take time out, So maybe taking the time out to reflect. With love is all around, I feel like, especially with that 5 of Pentacles being there, if you're in a situation where your needs are not being met, know that there are other possibilities with, let's just say, romantically, with a person who is prepared to give, to reciprocate your energy. Don't settle for less. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you, group number 1. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, group 2. So those of you that resonated with card number 30, create. This is going to be a reading. So we're asking, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? When we have create. So this can certainly be you tapping into your creative energy. Okay. Unlocking creativity. Group number 2, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? The Tower. 10 of Swords. 2 of Wands, Knight of Cups. Two of Swords. Queen of Swords. The Hanged Man. The King of Pentacles. Nine of Wands, Queen of Cups, and the Star. Okay. So, what this kind of looks like is that some of you are holding on to energy here from it looks like a painful situation here. Could be romantic for some of you, or, you know, it could be anybody else that you're maybe involved with here, friendships, family, whatever. But 6 of Swords is healing, and the 5 of Swords, that's a lot of the maybe perhaps memories from what has happened here. The Tower is here, which is helping us to, in a way, kind of break down the old version of self and do a lot of healing, a lot of releasing here. And why this is important for you is because I feel like whatever this energy is that you're holding on to, it is blocking your creativity. It may also be blocking your intuition. Okay? So with this healing and this releasing, this is going to open up this space for you to receive information, downloads from universe, from your higher self, to help you to be more in tune with this energy. Okay? With the Ace of Wands, I'm also seeing at the bottom, and the Knight of Wands. Now, of course, we can't just snap our fingers and magically all of this just goes away. There's a process of us acknowledging the hurt, the pain, the wounds that are here, any type of resentment, anger, things that we're still holding on to about someone who has wronged you, hurt you in some way, okay? And allowing ourselves to feel what it is that we need to feel, okay? Because what's going to happen is once you have this release here, it's going to help you to tap back into this creative energy with you. It's basically going to light your fire, okay? Now, sometimes we can use this energy, okay? I've done this in the past, especially when I was going through my own big healing moments in my life. Anger was something that fueled my fire, okay? A lot of anger, a lot of anger that I had. And that anger was something that really helped me to transform, because I kind of transmuted it in a way where I directed it towards empowerment, towards building my self-esteem back up again, towards being more confident in myself, towards having better boundaries, speaking my truth, using my voice. And, you know, for me with my history, it was a lot of standing up for myself and telling people, no, that's not okay, or this is not acceptable, or being a pushover, right? People pleaser. I became so angry with all of the stuff that I went through that it was that rage that fueled my fire for me. And I vowed to never kind of go back into that former version of me that was going to tolerate certain situations. Never again. So you can use this energy through the power of your voice, through your creative energy, because even through pain, we can tap into that energy and do something beautiful with it. We can paint, we can dance, we can draw, we can sing, we can, you know, create many things during the different stages and emotions that we go through within our life. And so this can also be a very healing process for you, okay? It can help to restore faith, help to restore trust, help to restore your sense of peace inside of yourself, mentally, emotionally, give you a completely new outlook on life, a change of perspective in such a beautiful way where you kind of really tap into your heart space and your mind and feel much more grounded and present and, you know, feeling motivated again, feeling driven and passionate and wanting to create beautiful change in your life. Okay, so we can create from this energy. We can transmute it in a beautiful way. You know, the Queen of Cups is here, which is about emotional stability, right? Learning to really work towards stabilizing the emotions. Some of you might be going through a lot right now, mentally, emotionally. Some of you might even be going through a spiritual awakening, a lot of healing. Some of you might be in a period of transition in your life. I'm seeing some of you may have gone through a recent divorce, a recent breakup. And so, yeah, that there can be a lot for us to process. Some of you might still be in shock. You still might be in a place of denial and kind of working through things. But yes, you can certainly use this time to, you know, sit with the pain, and allow yourself to work through that. And something beautiful can be birthed and created through this process for you. The Ace of Wands is about divine inspiration. Okay? So this could be a time for you to do something new, try something new, you know? And it's not in a way like where this is going to distract you from your pain, but you're kind of channeling that energy to use that energy in a different way. That's how we transmute. Okay, maybe you decide you want to take a dance class, you want to start writing, you want to publish a book, you want to open a business, you want to focus maybe on healing or sharing your story, things of that nature. Okay, so let's pull some oracle here. This can be pursuing a passion that you have, something you've always wanted to do. Okay. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Group 2. Yeah, we've got Moth Spirit here with surrender now. Surrender now. The Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. And then we got Turtle Spirit here with slow and steady wins the race. Okay, so surrendering into the moment, because of course, whatever this is that we're going through right now, you know, it could certainly be unpleasant and painful. But instead of trying to resist whatever this is that's taking place, it's about us leaning into the experience that we're having, coming to a place of acceptance, not trying to go against it, basically. Because when the Tower energy happens in our life, it can be surprising, unexpected, shocking, cause chaos, cause upheaval. Kind of like when we don't see certain things coming. Some of you could have been dealing with a recent betrayal. Okay. This is when we are needing to be in a state of that surrender, not trying to control anything. If something is being broken down, if something is being removed from our life, or we're being made aware of something, because the Tower can also represent an awakening. Sometimes that can be, you know, painful. So this is about Spirit saying to surrender to the now, surrender to what the experience is. And maybe even during this time with the deep dive here, where you take some time for healing, introspection, and, you know, don't feel that you have to hurry up and rush through this process. I know sometimes this feeling can be uncomfortable and we want to hurry up and be done with the feeling, but honor this time. Okay. Be kind to yourself, be compassionate. baby steps, one day at a time, okay, as we move through this energy. Okay, and like I said, maybe you do something creative right now to kind of transmute the energy and use it. Maybe you through this, whatever you're experiencing, maybe you write some beautiful poetry. Maybe you paint something gorgeous. Maybe you learn a new hobby. You learn how to, I don't know, make jewelry or pottery or something that, maybe even a time of getting connected in with your inner child, where there were certain things that you loved to do during childhood. Okay? When I was little, I used to love to dance like a ballerina and to instrumental kind of music, and pretend I was a ballerina and just dance all over the place. I used to love to draw and to paint and do lots of art. Okay? So think about those kind of things that you used to like to do, and to kind of, use this time, like I said, to channel that energy, whatever you're experiencing right now, into something beneficial for you, to create from that energy. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you. Group 2, I do hope this reading was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, Group 3. So those of you that resonate with the clear quartz and the card number 8, the Keeper of Pleasure. Okay, so the question today is, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? And with the Keeper of Pleasure, sometimes in life, right, with the day-to-day things, sometimes we can neglect the self and the things that we really want to do, or the things that we really want to try. So I do feel like it's important for you, Group 3, to kind of indulge a little bit, whether that means that you are going out and buying yourself something nice, or you're going to book a vacation for yourself, or you're going to, go out to dinner, and to just kind of focus on doing those things for yourself. Sometimes we're like super strict, right, with diets or with schedules, and so creating time for you to do the things that you love, and activities, right, that make you happy, that bring you joy, I feel like is important. Sometimes we can have a life that feels a little bit boring or a little dull, and it's just like we need to spice it up a little bit. Do things a little bit in a different way that kind of really satisfies those innermost desires that we can have. Okay? So maybe if you've been, all work and no play, that this is time for you to indulge a little bit. Okay? So let's see. Group number 3. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Look at that. Empress is coming in reverse. Yeah, look at that. 8 of Pentacles is a lot of work. Maybe some of you have been really focused on money, on career, and neglecting self-care. Okay? The Empress is about nurturing yourself. It's also about body and beauty. Okay? So maybe if you've been wanting to get your hair done, or you've been wanting to go get a pedicure, a manicure, buying yourself a new outfit, buying some food at the grocery store. Maybe you're going to buy a chocolate bar and just kind of have that one treat. You're going to allow yourself that one treat, especially for those of you that diet, or have not just dieting, but those of you that have a more a lifestyle, right, of eating super healthy and clean foods and stuff like that, where you decide, you know what, I'm going to let myself have this chocolate bar. It's also about your appearance, maybe, like I said, the clothes that you wear. The Empress is Taurus and Libra energy, which is connected to Venus. And Venus is about beautiful things, okay? Maybe that is a new piece of furniture. Maybe it is a new wardrobe. Maybe you are going and getting a facial done, or, you know, just kind of like doing something that makes you feel good. Maybe it's, maybe, I don't know, exercising, or something that you do for you. Okay? Self-care. Let's see. Like me time. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? 9 of Pentacles. Maybe some of you are needing to spend some time alone, okay? Or if you've been spending a lot of time away, right, from people, maybe this is time where you spend quality time with family or with friends. Some of you, I feel like you've really been working on abundance here, like a lot of focus on material world. You know, the 9 of Pentacles can also represent luxury, okay? So again, like I said, maybe you buy it, go out, and you know, if you're someone who's just like working and saving, and you don't really spend money on clothes, you don't buy yourself a new pair of shoes, or you know, something like that, that this is where you kind of allow yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor with the 9 of Pentacles. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Maybe you go rent yourself a beautiful flat, apartment, buy a home. You know, just like do something for you. We have the 6 of Pentacles here. Look at all this money. These are all the good money cards too. Let's see. What is your soul's deepest need from you right now? But it's also a lot of attention that's being put on material world. Okay. So like if you've been super focused, like I said, on working, and then what time do you have for you? Okay. We have the 8 of Swords here. This could also be decorating your space, especially with that Venus energy there. Yeah, going out and decorating a little bit, buying a new bedspread or a new lamp, you know, that's going to make your room look beautiful. Let's see. Because the 8 of Swords energy here can also be the ways in which we limit ourselves, you know, like if we're saving money and we're wanting to, you know, build wealth and stuff like that. But then 6 of Pentacles is about the flow of out and in, right? Giving and receiving. So we might spend a little bit, right? Maybe maybe if we're financially secure and stable, maybe the 6 of Pentacles can also be about generosity, you know? Maybe if we're seeing somebody who is struggling, or we want to be giving at this time, to say, hey, you know what, here, you know, if it gives you pleasure to, you know, help others. Even the 6 of Pentacles can also be a card about charity. Okay. So those of you that love to help other people and you want to share some of your time, energy, love, money, money too, you know, and giving in that way. But with the 8 of Swords here too, this can also be limitations, right? So if you're just like, no, I got to keep working, I got to keep saving, I can't spend any money, and you just kind of limit yourself, you know, I feel like this is Spirit wanting you to focus your intention on you also feeling happy and fulfilled. Or if you're someone who is constantly giving to others and helping others and helping others and helping others, but then again, we're neglecting the self. And that ends up making us feel unhappy, right? Inside. Because everybody else is receiving and receiving, but what about you? What are you receiving? Okay. And we can't always, you know, depend on other people to, you know, give to us in a way, but we can give to ourselves. Okay? We don't have to wait for someone to take us out to a nice dinner. We can take ourselves out to dinner. I used to do that before when I was still dating and I didn't have a boyfriend. I would take myself out to dinner. Table for one, please, at a nice place. Okay? Dress up nice and go. Table for one. Who is your, or what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Ace of Swords. Yeah, look at that. Four of Pentacles. Yeah. So some of you, the devil can represent greed. Okay, the Four of Pentacles can also represent greed. This is like hoarding, saving money. So maybe some of you, you're working a lot and saving and saving and saving and saving. And no, I can't spend. The devil is about indulging. Okay? It is desires that we have. The ego's desires. Maybe the ego's like, ooh, we want to have that new car. Right? Now, sometimes, yes, with the devil energy, this is overindulging. We can overdo it. We can get a little too spendy and do too much, right? Overindulging, eating too much cake, too much of the good stuff. So, of course, we want to be mindful of that. We're kind of keeping things in balance. But yeah, the devil represents our desires. So, the Ace of Swords can also represent clarity. So what are those deep desires that you have? Okay. Sometimes we do need to give in to them a little bit. Okay. Instead of holding ourselves back, instead of closing ourselves off and not allowing ourselves to experience certain things. Okay. Right? Sometimes the devil energy can represent something that's taboo or forbidden, but sometimes, as long as we're not doing something wrong, it's okay for us to just kind of give into that a little bit, have a little fun, but certainly keep yourself in check so we're not overdoing it. Okay. Let's see what this Eight of Swords is here. King of Cups in reverse. Yeah, and certainly we don't want to just kind of, I want to say, be reckless. And maybe some of you are worried about that, oh, well, if I do this, that's going to be reckless, or that's such an impulsive or rebellious thing to do. But sometimes we need to be that, tap into that energy of rebellion, okay? And kind of do the things that we want to do. If we're worried of like, oh, people are going to look at me and they're going to think, oh, you're so ungrounded. You're so ungrounded. You're so emotionally unstable. What are you doing? Yeah. So maybe we worry about that, right? That people are going to perceive us a certain way if we're just like let loose and just crazy. Or maybe you're worried about that too. Like, what if I've worked so hard for all this money and I'm trying to save, and what if I can't stop myself? What if I just keep going and going and going? And what if I spend too much money? Some of you might even be worried about financial insecurity, right? And that would be another thing we want to pay attention to too, is being in scarcity mindset. Okay? That feeling of I can't create more. I can't create more wealth. I can't create more abundance. Or thinking that there's only one way we can make money, or one way to make these indulgences happen. The Eight of Pentacles is also a lot of hard work, effort, discipline, and commitment to something, like a goal that we have, you know? So maybe let's just say that we do want to live a more luxurious life. We want to have a nice car. We want to wear nice clothing. Then what do we need to do in order to kind of have those types of desires in our life be met? We work hard. We're disciplined. We're focused. The mind is clear. The intention is clear of what we're working towards, of what we want to achieve. Okay? Also, you know, we want to make sure that we're also in an emotionally stable place too, because if we don't, and we're just kind of, then maybe we can be, right, a little reckless with moving towards certain desires, where that would be more on the unhealthy side for us. Okay? Because the devil can also talk about that addictive type of behaviors that we might have. So we want to, again, watch for that. But let's clarify the Empress here. Queen of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and then the Hierophant. Yeah, we've got the Five of Cups here too. So again, when we're giving into certain pleasures, you know, this sometimes we have to work past that feeling of shame. You know, if we, like, let's just say family is really opinionated and you are someone who wants to go out and, I don't know, we'll just use the example of you want to go out and buy yourself a sports car, okay? And then, you know, your family or your friends, they kind of perceive you as someone who's got everything under control. You're by the book and everything's in order, but then you want to indulge a little bit. You want to have that new sports car. You want to have that beautiful television set and sound system for your living room. You know, moving past feelings of guilt, of you receiving, of you doing something nice for yourself, or feeling shamed because it's what you wanted to spend your money on, or your time on, or your energy with. Okay? This can certainly be working on changing our belief systems, right? Which are sometimes, you know, the Hierophant can be about societal expectations and about what is the norm, what's expected of you, what your family raised you with, how we were conditioned, you know, to believe a certain thing about this is the way that we need to be. This is the way that we need to do things. Oh, you can't have that. You can't do that. Right? Sometimes, because then with the devil, this turns into a lot of the suppressed desires that we have, where if we don't acknowledge them, right, we could start to feel like we're not living, or we don't feel fulfilled because we didn't allow ourselves to try that new thing or to pursue a certain thing that we wanted. Okay, it becomes repressed, and it's still there inside of you, wanting to be experienced. Okay, sometimes if we grow up with certain religions or cultures, right, we might feel like, oh, we're not supposed to do that, or that's forbidden, or that's taboo. We can't have this, we can't do that, you can't act like that. Right? And then we, again, end up neglecting what your desires really are, what your needs are. We might even feel insecure about it, about having a certain desire. Okay? I feel like also because the Empress represents your body, it's also about you being comfortable in your own skin. Okay? It has a lot to do with the feminine energy, has a lot to do with sensuality, right? Body positive. And also meeting those needs. Okay? All right, so let's see. So I would say paying attention to that too, the physical needs, right? Group 3, what is your soul's deepest need from you right now? Dream the world into being. Yeah, and I feel like one that does bring you joy. Claim your independence. That's another message with that Nine of Pentacles. It's having a strong sense of self and being confident in that. You don't have to fit a mold. You can be who you want to be. You can like what you want to like. Okay? I used to have a friend before that anytime I would tell her that I would like a certain thing, she would get upset and say, no, you don't like that, because it was different. It was not the norm, you know? I naturally have an affinity for more like dark, Victorian, old-fashioned, Edwardian, or just, you know, like more goth kind of thing. And I feel like she was someone who was raised in a very different way. So it was me who was liking these things, furniture and clothing and makeup a certain way. That was just, you know, again, because of conditioning, that her belief systems were different, you know, where I was more like, I'm going to be the rebel. I'm going to dress different. I'm going to look different. I'm going to, you know, just like the different things. So this is about you maybe wearing what you want to wear, dressing how you want to dress. Okay? It's your vessel. Claim your independence. Like I said, developing a strong sense of self, a strong sense of identity, breaking free from the mold and not feeling ashamed about it. And then we have the armadillo spirit here with set healthy boundaries. Okay? So we're not here to please people, right? You're here to be you and discover who you are, no matter who that is. And if it's different than everybody else, good. Right? Who wants to be a cookie cutter? Who wants to look like everyone else? Be you. Be different. Be spooky if you want. Okay? All right. So I'm going to leave this here for you, group 3. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading.